I've made a huge mistake.
I made a huge mistake.
I've made a huge mistake.
That line, "I've made a huge mistake," became one of Arrested Development's most iconic and quotable phrases. Used throughout the entire show, it almost became its identity. The chaos ensued by the Bluth family became synonymous with this line, but it easily could have been said by a Fox executive after canceling the show. Because Arrested Development struggled to survive during its initial run in the early 2000s, it could have easily been another fragment lost in the winds of time. But it didn't. Thanks to its witty humor and modern accessibility, this brilliant comedy became a cult classic. So what changed? This video explores how streaming services and modern platforms have rewritten the rules of television. Through the story of Arrested Development, we'll uncover how television has evolved through the digital age, and how the internet helped give canceled shows like Arrested Development a second life. Before streaming, television followed strict rules. Networks like ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox dominated the airwaves. The big commercial hits were usually aired on a weekly basis, locked into primetime slots, usually between 8 and 11 p.m. Success was largely determined on live ratings. If people weren't tuning in at the exact time it aired, a show was considered a flop, no matter how critically acclaimed. This model favored predictability, and more importantly, put the power in the hands of advertisers. Since network revenue came from advertisements, cable networks stuck with what was easy and predictable. Think of sitcoms like Seinfeld or Friends. Each episode stood alone, resetting characters and storylines every week so new viewers could jump in at any time. Had you missed an airing of one of these shows, you wouldn't be completely lost by the next week. That's what networks wanted: wide appeal and low risk. However, there was an appetite for bingeable content at the time. Shows like Family Guy were canceled twice before finding success on air. A large part of that revival is due to DVD box sets, which rose in popularity after the show was canceled. Viewers craved control. They didn't want to be told when to tune in, they wanted to binge. Around the same time, another corner of television was experimenting. Premium cable networks like HBO followed a different set of rules. Since their revenue didn't come from advertisers and instead came from subscribers, it allowed them to take some creative risks. Shows that aired on these premium networks often involved more mature, long-form, narrative-driven content that demanded attention from the viewers, such as The Sopranos and The Wire. These programs and others like them hinted that there was an audience who was hungry for more narratively complex programs. To understand how Arrested Development got its second chance and how TV itself changed, we need to talk about streaming services, or more specifically, Netflix. Netflix was founded in 1997, not as the streaming giant we know today, but as a mail DVD rental service, shipping movies to your mailbox in those familiar red envelopes. What made it different from traditional video rental options? No late fees, no physical stores, just the freedom to watch on your own time. By the early 2000s, Netflix had introduced a subscription model. Instead of renting a DVD once at a time, you could pay a flat monthly fee and keep movies for as long as you wanted. It was a small shift, but it laid the eventual groundwork for on-demand viewing as a norm, not a novelty. Then the world changed in 2007 after Netflix launched its Watch Instantly feature, allowing subscribers to stream movies and TV shows right to their computers. No shipping, no waiting, just click and play. Streaming eliminated the constraints of the network television model. No more tuning in at specific times every week, no more waiting in between episodes. Instead, you could watch an entire season in one weekend, or rewatch episodes to catch details you missed. Binge watching became the default. Then in 2011, Netflix had partnered with Fox to host and produce new episodes of a little-known show that was canceled almost a decade before, Arrested Development. Arrested Development was so special, yet so misunderstood. The show followed the Bluth family, wealthy, dysfunctional, and absurd. Michael Bluth tries to keep the family together while everyone else is a walking disaster. Each character has their quirks. Michael's oldest brother, Job, is a delusional and failed magician. Michael's younger brother, Buster, is an emotionally stunted and heavily dependent on their mother, Lucille, who might just be the final boss of bad parenting. Michael also has a father, son, sister, brother-in-law, niece, and the list goes on. While the family is the most absurd, dysfunctional disaster, what really sets the show apart is its writing. Callbacks, recurring jokes, and long-term and subtle setups are all layered into a fast-paced structure that demanded attention. The show even has a narrator to help guide the viewer through the chaos.
At the studio,
Tobias began to create buzz around the water cooler.
That Funke is some kind of something.
Let's look at one of the most well-known setups and punchlines in the show. In Season 1, Buster lives with his mother still, but begins to desire independence from her. Naturally, he begins to date a different older woman who lives across the hall in the same retirement community, coincidentally being named Lucille as well. She would be referred henceforth as Lucille 2 by the characters in the show. This relationship doesn't last long, but it does lay the groundwork for Buster's independence and future resentment towards his mother Lucille and his ex-girlfriend Lucille 2. In Season 2, Buster enlists in the army as an act of defiance against his mother. Buster is waiting for the bus to take him off to camp when he gets another idea. Buster decides to go for a swim in the ocean, something his mother had always forbidden. I'll let the show tell the rest.
And Buster is on his way when he decides to pursue a long-delayed rite of passage.
Lucille! Watch out for Lucille!
I don't care about Lucille! Stay alive!
And then a seal bites off his hand.
We then learn in the next episode that the seal who bit off Buster's hand was wearing a yellow bow tie.
Buster went swimming in the ocean, and according to him, a seal with a bow tie bit off his hand.
Bow tie.
It's merely the playful mutterings of the shock victim. A seal would never prey on a human, unless, of course, it had acquired a taste for mammal blood.
Job had recently dressed a seal in a bow tie and used him in a magic trick. When it failed, he released the seal into the ocean.
You're not gonna be hand-fed anymore!
I mean, how the hell would a seal know how to tie a bow tie anyway? I can barely tie the yellow one that I wear in my act.
This one had a yellow bow tie!
Really?
The punchline even extends outside of the bounds of the episode. The episode where Buster loses his hand is named Out on a Limb. The next one, Hand to God. It's not just a punchline, it's a payoff, and it's the kind of joke that only works when watching closely. Another aspect Arrested Development is known for is its running gags. One well-known example of this is the literal doctor, which happens to make an appearance after Buster loses his hand.
Excuse me. Are you the Bluths?
Dr. Wordsmith, how's my son?
He's going to be all right. Oh, thank God.
Finally, some good news
There's
from
no
this
other way
guy.
to take that.
That's a great attitude. I gotta tell you, if I was getting this news, I don't know that I'd take it this well.
But you said he was all right.
Yes, he's lost his left hand, so he's going to be all right.
You son of a bitch! I hate this doctor!
Excuse me, Mr. Bluth. We lost him. He just, got away from us. I'm sorry.
And that's when the family realized that George Sr. wasn't dead, but was fleeing the country that he loved so very much. Tobias was also having a bad day. Lindsay had met someone and he hadn't. And that's when he found what he thought was a support group for depressed men. Tobias rushed to the theater hoping to be seen. Unfortunately, it was dusk and he couldn't be seen.
What the hell was that?
And so, for the second time in 2 days, the family gathered at the hospital.
Excuse me, Mrs. Funke.
Oh, this guy again.
How is he, doctor? It, looks like he's dead.
Oh my God!
Just to be clear, it looks like he's dead or he is dead.
It just looks like he's dead. He's got, like, blue paint on him or something. But he's going to be fine. What is wrong with you?
Doctor!
I'll let you celebrate privately.
Another example is in the episode titled Good Grief, where they parody old Charlie Brown cartoons over and over again.
George Michael, meanwhile, had just been broken up with by his first girlfriend and was on his way home. George Michael went for a walk in the adjoining lot to grieve both losses in private.
You can keep them bottled up, but they will come out, Michael, sometimes in the most unexpected... Hey, where the are my hard-boiled eggs?
Or how about the "I've made a huge mistake" line that is used throughout the whole show?
You've made a huge mistake.
I made a huge, tiny mistake.
I've made a huge mistake.
In a streaming area where viewers can pick up on patterns quickly while binge watching, Arrested Development suddenly makes way more sense and becomes way more fun. It's a comedy that requires you to pay attention. In 2005, that was a liability, but in 2025, it's a feature. As one media scholar put it, streaming services allow for binge watching, which favors serialized content and long-term investment in characters and storylines. Streaming turned Arrested Development from a ratings failure into a modern classic, but it wasn't streaming who acted alone. The internet had its say too. Reddit threads dissected every detail. TikTok clips were going viral. X accounts were created just to post endless memes and clips from the show. This community helped keep the show alive, while also helping new fans discover it. Nowadays, a show's success isn't just about numbers, but fan engagement. As economist Joel Waldfogel puts it, streaming services concentrate on engagement rather than ad revenue, allowing them to support niche content that networks would otherwise reject. Memes, theories, inside jokes. Fans weren't just watching TV, they were participating in it. Arrested Development isn't an isolated case. The same thing is happening for countless programs. Community went from a cult favorite to eventually signing a movie deal, powered by a passionate online fan base. Breaking Bad, while successful during its run, became a full-on cultural phenomenon after hitting Netflix. Its meme culture might be larger than the show itself. Online communities and platforms fueled this fire. If you look far enough, you can find groups of people talking about almost anything. Streaming plus fan engagement is the new formula for successful television. Television has changed, from appointment viewing to algorithmic suggestions, from passive watching to active participation. Arrested Development didn't fail, it just landed too early. But in the digital age, timing isn't everything. With the right platform and the right community, even the most unconventional shows can thrive. Arrested Development was never meant to thrive in the world of appointment viewing. It was never a typical sitcom. It was a show that dared to assume its audience was paying attention. And if Fox couldn't see the brilliance in that, well, all I can say is,
Come on!